My dear friends, it's a special pleasure and a high honor for me to pay tribute to one of this evening's honorees, Carl A. Anderson, past Supreme Knight of the Knights of Columbus. On a personal note, when I was a recently ordained priest, I met Carl Anderson here in Washington, near St. Matthew's Cathedral on Rhode Island Avenue. What began as a chance meeting turned into a working relationship, and that working relationship blossomed into a friendship that I regard as one of the greatest graces of my life. Carl reached out to me when he was serving in the Reagan administration. We had a few memorable lunches at the White House mess, and on those occasions, I began to sense the depth and breadth of his intellect, his heart, and his soul. Later, I was able to assist Carl and Monsignor Lorenzo Albacete, who sought approval to establish the Pontifical Pope John Paul II Institute for Studies on Marriage and Family, now located at the Catholic University of America. When Carl became State Deputy of the Knights of Columbus here in the District of Columbia, to my amazement, he invited me to serve as State Chaplain. When he became Supreme Knight, to my greater amazement, he invited me to serve as Supreme Chaplain, and in that position, I worked closely with Carl Anderson for 15 years. But most important of all, I have enjoyed his friendship and that of his wife Dorian, and it is a friendship rooted not only in common interests, but above all, in the things of God, in important ideas, in vision, and in expanding horizons. If you spend but a moment with Carl's writings, you will quickly see that he is deeply conversant with currents of philosophy, law, theology, and culture. But Carl was never merely a man of ideas. He's a man of action. For some 20 years, he led the Knights of Columbus with vision and skill as it set new records in membership and insurance and expanded into Eastern Europe, France, and Korea. From his high vantage point, Carl perceived more clearly than most the erosion, if not the outright attacks, on religious liberty both at home and abroad. He did not perceive these threats through any ideological lens, but rather through the clear lens of his well-formed and well-honed reason, enlightened by a vibrant faith, a faith upon which he never fails to act. And act he did. Under his leadership, the Knights were in the forefront of struggles against government mandates, against religious freedom. No one did more to raise awareness of these threats than did this, our honoree. No one supported the bishops of the United States more staunchly, or the Catholic Benefits Association, or the Becket Fund, or many other efforts that are afoot in our country to protect and defend religious liberty. As you heard, when ISIS wantonly murdered Christians in Iraq, Carl did not merely decry the butchery. Rather, he and his team learned in depth the situation of Christians and other religious minorities in the Middle East. He came to know their bishops. He came to know by listening the true needs of a people who lived and live in the shadow of terror, testifying before Congress, working with the then Secretary of State John Kerry, presenting a detailed study of their plight. Carl convinced the Obama administration to declare the situation in Iraq as genocide. And because of that declaration, it made all the difference in the world. Not very often does a man like Carl Anderson come to the fore. This evening, it's my joy and privilege to offer these few words of tribute on behalf of my friend and on behalf of a true champion of religious freedom at home and abroad, Carl A. Anderson.